The Gibeonites deception. Now when all the king west of the Jordan heard about these things, the king in the hill country in the western foothill and along the entire coast of the Mediterranean Sea as far as Lebanon, the king of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hittites, and Jebusites. They came together to wage war against Joshua and Israel. However, when the people of the Gibeon heard what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to the ruse. They went as delegation whose donkeys were loaded with worn-out sack and old wine skins, cracked and mended. They put one and patched sandals on their feet and wore old clothes. All the bread of their food supply was dry and moldy. Then they went to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal and said to him and the Israelites, "We have come from the distant country. Make a treaty with us." The Israelites said to the Hittites, "But perhaps you live near us, so how can we make a treaty with you? We are your servants," they said to Joshua. But Joshua asked, "Who are you and where do you come from?" They answered, "Your servants have come from a very distant country because of the flame of the Lord your God, for we have heard reports of him, all that he did in Egypt, and all that he did to the two kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, Sihon king of Heshbon and Og king of Bashan, who resigned in Ashtaroth, and our elders and all those living in our country said to us, 'Take up provisions for your journey, go to meet,' and they say to them, 'We are your servant, make a treaty with us.' This bread of our was one when we fed it in home on the day we left to come to you. But now see how dry and moldy it is. And these wineskins that we filled were new, but see how cracked they are. And our clothes and sandals are worn out by the very long journey." The Israelites sampled their provisions, but did not inquire of the Lord. Then Joshua made a treaty of peace with them to let them live. And the leader of the assembly ratified it by oath. This day, after they made a treaty with the Gibeonites, the Israelites heard that they were neighbors, living near them. So the Israelites set out and on the third day came to their cities, Gibeon, Kephira, Beerus, and Kirias Jearim, but the Israelites did not attack them, because the leader of the assembly had sworn on us to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. The whole assembly grumbled against the leader. But all the leader answered, "We have given them our oath by the Lord, the God of Israel, and we cannot touch them now. This is what the will do to them. We will let them live. So that God's ways will not fall on us for breaking the oath we swore to them." They continued, "Let them live, but let them be woodcutters and water carriers in the service of the whole assembly." So the leader promise to them was kept. Then Joshua summoned the Gibeonites and said, "Why did you deceive us by saying, 'We live a long way from you,' while actually you live near us? You are now under curse. You will never be released from service as woodcutter and water carriers for the house of my God." They answered Joshua, "Your servant were clearly told how the Lord your God had commanded his servant Moses to give you the whole land and to wipe out all its inhabitants from before you. So we feared for our lives because of you, and that is why we did this. We are now in your hands to do us whatever seems good and right to you." So Joshua saved them from the Israelites, and they did not kill them. That day he made the Gibeonites woodcutters and water carriers for the assembly to provide for the need of the altar to the Lord at the place the Lord would choose. And that is what they are to this day. The sun stands still, and Adoni Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its king as is the had done to Jericho and its king, and that the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and had become their allies. He and his people were very much alarmed at this, because Gibeon was an important city, like one of the royal cities. It was larger than Ai, and all its men were good fighters. So Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, appealed to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon. "Come up and help me attack Gibeon," he said, because it was made peace with Joshua and the Israelites. Then the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, Helbon, Jarmus, Lachish, and Eglon, joined the force. They moved up with all their troops and took up position against Gibeon and attacked it. The Gibeonites then sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal, "Do not abandon your servant. Come up to us quickly and save us. Help us, because all the Amorite king from the hill country have joined force against us." So Joshua marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." After an all-night march from Gilgal, Joshua took them by surprise. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel, so Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. As they fled before Israel on the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones down on them, and more of them died from the hail than were killed by the sword of the Israelites. On the day Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel, Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel, "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Aijalon." So the sun stood still, and moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies, as it is written in the book of Joshua. The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about 4 days. There has never been a day like it before or since, a day when the Lord listened to a human being. Surely the Lord was fighting for Israel. Then Joshua returned with all Israel to the camp of Gilgal. 5 Amorite kings killed. Now the 5 kings had fled and hidden in the cave in Makkedah. When Joshua was told that the 5 kings had been found hiding in the cave, the Makkedah, he said, "Roll large rock to the mouth of the cave, and post some men there to guard it, but don't stop. Pursue your enemies. Attack them from the near, and don't let them reach their cities. For the Lord your God has given them into your hands." So Joshua and the Israelites defeated them completely. But a few survivors managed to reach their fortified cities. The whole army then returned safely to Joshua in the camp at Makkedah. And no one uttered a word against the Israelites. Joshua said, "Open the mouth of the cave and bring those 5 kings out to me." So they brought the 5 kings out of the cave, the kings of the Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, and Ekron. When they had brought the king to Joshua, he summoned all the men of Israel and said to the army commanders who had come with him, "Come here and put your feet on the neck of these kings." So they came forward and placed their feet on their necks. Joshua said to them, "Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. Be strong and courageous. This is what the Lord will do to all the enemies you are going to fight." Then Joshua put the kings of death and exposed their bodies on 5 poles, and they were left hanging on the pole until evening. At sunset, Joshua gave the order, and they took them down from the pole and threw them into the cave where they had been hiding. At the mouth of the cave, they placed large rocks, which are there to this day. Southern cities conquered. The day Joshua took Makkedah, he put the city and its king to the sword and totally destroyed everyone in it. He left no survivors, and he did to the king of Makkedah as he had done to the king of Jericho. The Joshua and all Israel with him moved on from Makkedah to Libnah and attacked it. The Lord also gave that city and its king into Israel's hand. The city and everyone in it Joshua put the sword. He left no survivors there, and he did to each king as he had done to the king of Jericho. Then Joshua and all Israelites had with him moved on from Libnah to Lachish. He took up positions against it and attacked it. The Lord gave Lachish into Israel's hand, and Joshua took it on the second day. The city and everyone in it he put to the sword, just as he had done to Libnah. Meanwhile, Horam, king of Gezer, had come up to help Lachish, But Joshua defeated him and his army, until no survivors were left. The Joshua and all Israelites with him moved on from Lachish to Eglon. They took up positions against it and attacked it. They captured it that same day and put it to the sword and totally destroyed everyone in it, just as they had done to Lachish. Then Joshua and all Israelites with him went up from Eglon to Hebron and attacked it. They took the city and put it to the sword, together with its king, its villages, and everyone in it. They left no survivors, just as at Eglon. They totally destroyed it and everyone in it. Then Joshua and all Israel with him turned around and attacked Debir. They took the city, its king, and its villages, and put them to the sword. Everyone in it they totally destroyed. They left no survivors. They did to Debir and its king as they had done to Libnah and its king and to Hebron. So Joshua subdued the whole regions, including the hill country, the Negev, the western foothill, and the mountain slope, together with all their kings. He left no survivors, no totally destroyed, or who blessed, just as the Lord, the God of Israel, had commanded. Joshua subdued them from Kadesh Barnea to Gaza, and from the whole region of Goshen to Gibeon. All the king and their land Joshua conquered in one campaign. Because the Lord, the God of Israel, fought for Israel. Then Joshua returned with all Israel to the camp at Gilgal. Northern kings defeated. Northern kings defeated. Then when Jabin, king of Hazor, heard of this, he sent word to Jobab, king of Madon, to the king of Shimron, and Akshap, and to the northern kings who were in the mountains in the Arabah, south of Kineres, in the western foothill, and in Napos Dor on the west, to the Canaanites in the east and west, to the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, and Jebusites in the hill country, and to the Hivites below Hermon in the region of Mizpah. They came out with all their troops and a large number of horses and chariots, a huge army as numerous as the sand on the seashore. All these kings joined forces and made camp together at the water of Merom to fight against Israel. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them, because by this time tomorrow I will hand all of them slain over to Israel. You are to hamstring their horse and burn their chariots. So Joshua and his whole army came against them suddenly at the wet water of Merom, and attacked them. And the Lord gave them into the hand of Israel, that defeated them and pursued them all the way to Greater Sidon, to Misrephoth-maim, and to the valley of the Mizpah on the east, until the survivors were left. Joshua did to them as the Lord had directed. He hamstrung their horse and burned their chariot. At the time Joshua turned back and captured Hazor and put its king of the sword. Hazor had been the head of all these kingdoms. Every one in it they put the sword. They totally destroyed them, not sparing anyone, not that blessed. And he burned Hazor itself. Joshua took all these royal cities and their kings and put them to the sword. He totally destroyed them as Moses and servant of the Lord had commanded. Yet Israel did not burn any of the cities built on their mounds. Except Hazor, which Joshua burned. The Israelites carried off for themselves all the plunder and livestock of these cities, but all the people there put to the sword until they completely destroyed them, not sparing anyone that blessed. As the Lord commanded his servant Moses, so Moses commanded Joshua, and Joshua did it. He had nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Joshua took this entire land, hill country, all the Negev, the whole region of Goshen, the western foothills, the Arabah, and the mountains of Israel with their foothills, from Mount Halak, which lies toward the Seir, to Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon, below Mount Hermon. He captured all their kings and put them to death. Joshua waged war against all the kings for a long time, except for the Hivites living in the Gibeon. Not one city made a treaty of peace with it. The Israelites who took them all in battle, for it was the Lord himself who hardened their hearts to wage war against Israel, so that he might destroy them totally, exterminating them without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses. At At that time, Joshua went and destroyed the Amalekites from the hill country, from Hebron. David and Aram from all the hill country of Judah and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua totally destroyed them and their towns. No Amalekite anarchists were left in Israelite territory, only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod did any survive. So Joshua took the entire land just as the Lord had directed Moses, and he gave it as inheritance to Israel according to their tribal divisions. Then the land had rest from war. List of the defeated kings. These are kings of the land whom the Israelites had defeated and whose territory they took over east of Jordan from the Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon, including all the eastern side of the Arabah. Sihon, king of the Amorites, who resided in Heshbon, he ruled from Aroer on the rim of the Arnon Gorge, from the middle of the gorge George, to the Jabbok River, which is the border of the Ammonites. This includes the half of Gilead. He also ruled over the eastern Arabah from the Sea of Galilee to the Sea of the Arabah, that is the Dead Sea, to Beth Jeshimoth, and then southward beyond the slope of Pisgah, and territory of Og, king of Bashan, one of the last of the Lepites, who resided in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He ruled over Mountain Hermon, Selaka, or the Bashan, to the border of the people of Geshur and Makkah, and half of Gilead to the border of Sihon, kings of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites conquered them, and Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave their land to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of the Manasseh to be their possessions. Here is a list of the king of the land that Joshua and the Israelites conquered on the west side of the Jordan from Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mountain Harak, which lies toward Seir. Joshua gave their land as an inheritance to the tribe of Israel according to their tribal divisions. The land included the hill country, the western foothills, the Arabah, the mountain slope, the wilderness, and the Negev. These were the land of the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. These were the kings. The king of Jericho won. The king of Ai near Bethel won. The king of Jerusalem won. The king of Hebron won. The king of Jarmuth won. The king of Lachish won. The king of Eglon won. The king of Gezer won. The king of Dibir won. The king of Gedar won. The king of Hormah won. The king of Arad won. The king of Libnah won. The king of Adullam won. The king of Makkedah won. The king of Bethel won. The king of Tapua won. The king of Hepher won. The king of Apek won. The king of Lesharon won. The king of Madon won. The king of Hazer won. The king of Shimron Meron won. The king of Akshap won. The king of Tanakh won. The king of Megiddo won. The king of Kadesh won. The king of Joknim in Carmel won. The king of Dor in Nephos Dor won. The king of Goim in Gilgal won. The king of Tizar won. 31 kings in all. Land still to be taken. When Joshua had grown old, the Lord said to him, "You are now very old, and these are still very large areas and of land to be taken over. This is the land that remains for the regions of the Philistines and Jeshurites from the Shihor River on the east of the Egypt to the territory of Ekron on the north, all of it counted as Canaanites. Canaanites, through held by the 5 Palestine rulers in Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. The territory of the Abites on the south, or the land of the Canaanites from Ara of the Sidonians as far as Aphek, and the border of the Ammonites, the area of Byblos, and all Lebanon to the east, from Baal Gad, below Mountain Harmon to Lebo Hamas. As for all the inhabitants of the mountainous regions from Lebanon to Mislephoth-Maim, that is, all the Sidonians, myself, I will drive them out before the Israelites. Be sure to allocate this land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have instructed you, and divide it as an inheritance among the 9 tribes and half over the tribe of Manasseh. Division of the land east of the Jordan. The other half on Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites had received the inheritance that Moses had given them east of the Jordan, as he, the servant of the Lord, had assigned it to them. It extended from Aroer on the rim to the Arnon Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and included the whole plateau of Medeba, far as Dibon, and all the town of the Sihon king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, out of the border of the Ammonites. It also included Gilead, the territory of the people of Geshur and Makkah, or the mountain Hernon, and all Bashan as far as Shalekah. That is the whole kingdom of Og in Bashan, who had resigned in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He was the last of the Rephites. Moses had defeated them and taken over their land, but the Israelites did not drive out the people of the Geshur and Makkah. So they continue to live among the Israelites to this day. But to the tribe of Levi he gave no inheritance, since the food for the offering presented to the Lord, the God of Israel, and are their inheritance as he promised them. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Reuben according to the clans. The territory from Aroer on the rim of the Arnon Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the Gorge, and the whole plateau past Medeba to Heshbon, and all its town on the plateau included Dibon, Bamoth Baal, Beth-baal Meon, Jehad Kedemoth, Mephas, 키리아사임, 시브마, 제레스, 샤하르, on the hill in the valley. Beth Peor, the slope of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshimoth. All the towns on the plateaus and entire realm of Sion, king of the Amorites, who ruled at Heshbon. Moses had defeated him, and the midnight chef Abi, Rekam, Juru, Haru, and Reba, princes aligned with Sihon, who lived in that country, in addition to those slain in battle. The Israelites had fought to the sword Balaam, son of Beor, who practiced divination. The boundary of the Levites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites according to their clans. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Gad according to each clan. The territory of Jazer, or the towns of Gilead and Harp, the Amorite country, as far as Aror, near Laban, Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth, Mizpah, and Bethnim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debiru, and in the valley Beth Haram, Beth Nimla, Sukkos, and Japhon, with the rest of the realm of Sion, king of Heshbon, the east side of the Jordan, the territory up to the end of the Sea of Galilee. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Gadites according to their clans. This is the Moses had given to half tribe of Manasseh, that is, to half the family of the descendants of Manasseh according to each clan. The territory extending from Mahanaim and including all of Bashan, the entire realm of Og, king of Bashan, or the settlements of the Jar in Bashan, 60 towns, half of Gilead, and Ashtaroth, and Edrei, the royal cities of Og in Bashan. This was for the descendants of Machir, son of Manasseh, for half of the son of Machir according to their clans. This is the inheritance Moses had given when he was in the plains of the Moab across the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses had given no inheritance, nor the Lord the God of Israel is their inheritance, as he promised them.